Hey there, you guys. Welcome back. Time for a backyard update. So things are growing really, really well back here. Some things are growing better than others. This castor bean is doing pretty awesome. It did get blown over by the wind, so it's not as tall as maybe it was the last time. But yeah, it's kicking. It's gonna give it character. It's gonna flop over and then it's gonna start growing up, and it's gonna have a nice windswept look. So yeah. Let's wander through. First, let's pan around and see what the garden looks like, because I've been forgetting to do that in my videos. Nice to see what it looks like before you wander through it. Anyway, let's do that and then let's get to it. The grass is actually looking really, really nice. It's so green. It was raining today. So yeah, the contrast between the grass and the garden bed is super right now. And this is from when I was going through the pumpkins. I got all kinds of mud on my shoe, so that is my fault. Okay, so let's actually start over here. We'll end on the concrete pad. So here, the elephant ear, which one is that? That's the Borneo giant. It's starting to do okay. This is the one that really took a while to establish itself this season. It took a long time for the first leaf to develop, but now it's gotten three leaves, and they're not a bad size. They're not huge. They're not giant by the name. They were bigger when they came out, and then they got burned by the sun. But it does have a bunch of little babies off to the side, so that's a bonus. I moved, as you can see back there, that's where the painted daisy is that I took from the front. We've got plumerias here. There's one there and one here. And I don't see any inflows developing. I ended up buying this sedum when I bought the Autumn Joy for the front. And I thought that the leaves were really, really cool. Let's get a little closer here. So the leaves are really, really structured, very pointy. This one's called Thundercloud. And I hope that it grows like the picture. Can you see that? It looks very, very uniform. Right now it's not so uniform, but I'll take what I can get at the moment. We'll see what happens next year. It probably needs full sun. What are they? The zinnias are starting to flower. I've been pulling some of them off, and some of them I've been leaving on, but they're looking really, really nice. The colors are quite beautiful. There's some pinks and some oranges and some reds. The Alocasia macrorrhiza is looking nice. This one is my oldest one. I've had this one for, I don't know, since I was like 22 years old. So he's probably like 18 years for me, roughly. So it's a super nice one. It's got a lot of sentimental value. The leaves are much smaller than it used to have. So I need to go in and revitalize it. It looks like it needs some fertilizer. As you can see, the leaves have that little bit of a yellow between the veins, and I probably just need to boost up the fertilizer just a bit. A little bit more nitrogen, perhaps. And this is a Alocasia zebrina that I got. I got this a few weeks ago, and I got it at Sobeys, so at the grocery store, and it was only $14.99. The old leaves have burnt. I'm going to remove all of these old leaves, and then the new ones are going to be much stronger, and it's just going to be the same kind of story as the Frydek in the front. Now they're going to start developing stronger leaves. They might be a little bit shorter than they were originally, but they're going to be much more sturdy. Then over on this side, I've got some nice hibiscus that are in bloom. I'm waiting for the other hibiscus to come into bloom. I've got the red one, I've got the orange one, and I can't remember what the other one is. I think there are two different types of orange. One has a red center and the other one is just orange. And then we've got the Alocasia macrorrhiza. The cutting from this one, it's over here. So it actually is starting to produce a baby. Off to the side, this is the baby here. And then we got the crinum and the Madagascar jewel. I love the Madagascar jewel when it's just a little seedling and the veining is white like a spiderweb pattern. But then as it gets older, it loses the white veining, which is really a shame because the white veining is so beautiful. And then the Abutilon is looking okay. Again, I'm probably not going to bring it inside for the winter. This is probably my last season for it, but maybe I'll take a cutting. When I see it grow really, really nice, it's so pretty. But then when it was growing inside, it really stretched, and I didn't like that very much at all. So we'll see what I do. I'm definitely not bringing in the whole plant, but I'll probably take cuttings. Back to the castor bean, looking pretty awesome. I don't think that there's any flowers starting to develop yet. Let's get in here and check things out. If you're growing castor beans, just to be aware that they are poisonous. So don't let your kids eat them or your pets eat them. But they're really, really a beautiful statement plant. No flowers developing yet. This colocasia, it's doing beautifully. I thought it was going to be dead. I forget what it's called, like a dragon heart or something. And I love the purple leaves. It's supposed to get really, really big, but when I got it last year, I think it was last year, it just deteriorated from the beginning. It stayed alive, and it stayed alive all winter, but it just was on a downward spiral, and the leaves were tiny. So now it's starting to come into its own. It's starting to develop better, and I'm very, very happy about that. And here's the turmeric. The turmeric leaves are looking amazing. If you don't remember planting these turmeric, check back in the older videos, and it was a lot of fun to do. And look at the beautiful plants you get. The leaf color is quite amazing. It's kind of like a chartreuse. And then over here, sorry, I forgot that I'm holding the camera. I've got some alliums. These alliums are probably about maybe 5 feet tall. And they're called Summer Drummer, and they're way down there. They haven't been blown over by the wind, which is incredible, because they're so tall. They're supposed to get to be about 6 feet tall, so they're still quite small, but the bulb size when I planted them were quite small. So hopefully the bulb size will get bigger, and we'll get a nicer sized plant next year. We got the Enset banana, the Enset Murray. It's looking beautiful. In the fall, I'm going to probably do the corm division to create more. I don't know why I want more, but yeah, stay tuned. Let's see if we do another corm division of these guys. This Sum and Substance hosta is looking pretty worse for wear. I don't know what's happening. In the front, it did beautifully. In the back, it's probably just because of transplant. I transplanted it last fall. And some of these leaves are probably from frost damage from May. Who knows? Look at this zinnia. It's so pretty. Such a beautiful color. And I've got some blanket flower. The blanket flowers are new, and I need to come in and deadhead some of the blanket flowers. They're nice. The little balls are nice, but I like to remove them so it makes the plant flower a little bit more prolifically. This is Serendipity Alocasia, I believe. Alocasia Serendipity. The leaves are such a cool corrugated texture. That one's just unfurling its new leaf. Yeah, I really like that one. It's got a very thick leaf too. And then we got the Canna Pretoria. And I'm going to remove this flower spike. We got all kinds of finch food on there, making it look all gross. But as you can see, the wind has finally taken the flower. I don't like it when it starts to produce flower on top of flower on top of flower. Some people probably like it for the height, but I don't really like it. So I'll cut it off, and it'll send the energy to the other growths, and hopefully they will be beautiful. This is our finch feeder up here. We've taped, it's one of those feeders that you can spin it so it does regular bird seed as well, not just the Niger seed. But I ended up duct taping it because the birds will end up coming and spinning it around, and then all of the seed goes down onto the ground, and it just gets wasted. So duct tape to the rescue. Here's another plumeria, no inflows. These are all my seedling plumerias. They're doing really, really well, but just no inflows. Here's the little garlic, not the garlic, sorry, the ginger. Ginger leaves, the actual, what is it? I think it's officinalis or something. It doesn't do very well for me. The leaves just seem to get caught up on themselves, and yeah, they just look a little crinkled all the time. And we've got some lilies here. This is the first year for these lilies. They're not going to bloom, but at least they didn't die. Those are the ones I got for 2 for 1. And these ageratum, somebody corrected me or told me the name of them. I remember these, but they're looking so beautiful. They got so big. I'm definitely going to plant those again this next year. And the monkey puzzle tree, it's got some new growth happening. It's such a spiky tree. Oh my God. I'm excited to see how it does when I put it in the garage over the winter time. If you follow my Facebook posts or my Instagram posts, you'll know that I trimmed back the forest pansy redbud. It used to cover up the hostas. So I took probably 1.5 to 2 feet of growth off the base, and now we've got a little lollipop tree. So this year it looks a little bit crazy. It looks much more clean. I can see the hostas finally, but next year it's going to grow much wider. So we'll see what happens next year when the growth hits, and hopefully it's really, really amazing. I do want to keep the hostas shaded, so I was really hesitant about cutting them up right away, but it needed to be done because they weren't getting any light. The leaves were just sitting on top of the hostas. We weren't able to see the flowers here or here, so now we can see everything. These are some of the daylilies that are in bloom. I don't know any of the names. These were the ones that we went to the daylily farm, and we actually picked the ones we wanted from the field, and they dug them up. The window box is looking pretty nice. That particular coleus is going out of control. I need to come in and do a little bit of pruning, but it's kind of nice. I'm not hating it. So I believe this one's Praying Hands, the hosta. It's looking super nice, and these are self-seeded salvias. Really happy about that. I didn't know what to expect, but I just let them do their thing, and it's purple and white, so that's really nice. And then what is this one? I'm not sure what this particular hosta is. I think it's August Moon, I think. And look at the clusters of flowers. They're so dense. Oh my gosh, so beautiful. There's no fragrance to these, which is a shame. And then back here we've got some more daylilies, super pretty. The Empress Wu hosta, which is not looking so good. Again, it was so much bigger at the other house. Like, I'm talking, the leaves I think were about 19 inches long. I think I measured some. And now they're, I'm gonna say maybe 9 inches long, 10 inches long at the most. And I cut back the bleeding heart. You'll see a little bit of it back there, just because it was out of control, and I like it better that size. It will never be that size, but I like it right now like that. And we got another elephant ear back there. That one's doing really, really nice in the ground. Maybe next year, as we pan around, maybe I'll plant these mycorrhizas in the ground to give them a little bit of a head start, a boost. They do definitely like to be in the ground more than they like to be in pots. So here is the Alocasia lutea, and it is doing beautifully this year. Look at those leaves. They're super glossy. They've got that beautiful yellow vein. They just look absolutely perfect. And this year they're growing upright, whereas last year they were growing horizontally. They were growing horizontally. So yeah, and then next to it we've got the salvia, and got more hostas. I'm not sure what this one is called. Maybe there's a tag here. I'm not able to read the tag. I'll have to try to get in there and make labels for my things again. The germander's looking pretty cool. The ginkgo biloba troll is looking really nice. This one again is the witch's broom. So it's naturally a dwarf variety. It's going to look really, really interesting. And if anything comes up that's really long and straight, I'm going to trim it back so that it doesn't grow out of its witch's broom. So here is one of the regular sunflowers. He's growing up over the fence. He's probably 2 feet over the fence at least. And you can see here the flower is trying to develop. It's really wonky at the top. I don't know what's happening to it. It changes. Some days it's straight up, some days it's off to the side. It just does what it wants to do. And then down here we have the spider lilies just taking over. need to come in and just cut back so that I can expose the Japanese maple. There's enough light getting into the Japanese maple. It's not going to die, but I just want to give it a little bit more light. And also, I want to be able to see it. Right now, you don't see it. Another thing that I need to cut out around is this beautiful daylily. Look at those flowers. They're so beautiful, but they're just getting hidden by the silly spider lily. So I'll probably end up putting some spider lily bulbs on the Amazon marketplace for anybody in Canada. Just because I have way too many, and they're such beautiful plants. I would hate to just throw them in the compost. So here is the hanging basket with mostly million bells petunias, and we've also got some coleus, and there's some nemesia in there as well. You can't really see the nemesia because it's been drowned out, but there's some back there, purple. So you want to make sure with your million bells petunias that you're coming out and giving them a light trim all the time. Maybe once every couple of weeks, come out and just give them a little bit of a trim, take off a couple of inches here and there to promote more growth at the back of the plant. Because in time, the pot area is going to start dying off, and you're just going to have leaves coming or flowers coming from here down, and the top part is going to be pretty bare. So to avoid that, you just need to give it a slight trim every couple of weeks. And the allium, I think those are allium millennium, are doing really, really nice as well. Oh, let's look at the pansies. Again, these pansies haven't been deadheaded in 2 weeks. I'm very ashamed of that. We're actually going into 2.5 weeks, and they're not looking as nice, not as fresh. I'm going to come in and remove everything. I was going to do it this morning, but then it was raining, and I also thought I wanted to have some flowers for the video. So it only takes them about 3 days before the flowers start to open again. So it's nice to know. I usually do it on Sundays, and then by the next Saturday, they're beautiful again, absolutely loaded with flowers. I got a little coreopsis, a perennial coreopsis to go in the back here. I need to get some weeds out of there. I see a little prickle bush starting to grow back here. I've got this, I believe this is Mayan mask alocasia. It's not looking so good. This one here is usually what happens to me when the stem gets too long. The growth starts to really peter off and die. It's not dead. If I was to prune this back and put it in the soil, it will grow, and it will grow with vengeance, with force. I'll do that at some point soon. The obedient plant is looking really nice. I wish it was standing more straight, but there's a lot of it hanging around. It has flopped over, so maybe I'll get a peony hoop or something, and put it in the center so that it has some support when it starts to flower next year. It's a little late now, and the fun thing about obedient plant, if you haven't had them in the past, the flowers are all on little hinges, so you can put the flowers wherever you want them to be. So you can move them all to the front, you can put them in little spirals, or just leave them natural. I like to put them all to the front. It's a fun little thing to do on a lazy day in the garden. This is another type of spider lily. This one's called Sulphur Queen. It's got a yellow flower. And over here we've got what I'll call the banana grove. It's not really a grove, but it is a bunch of bananas. These are all the blue Java bananas. And these are the ones that I overwintered in the garage. So they are amazing. I will definitely do that again, because with this one, it basically started off almost at fence height. I think actually maybe halfway up the fence, and the new growth is well above the fence now. So the tip of this leaf is probably maybe 10 feet tall. So every leaf thereafter is going to be as tall or taller than that one. So we're going to have a nice mound of leaves above the fence very, very soon. And these smaller ones are still looking really, really, really magnificent. They weren't very big. This one I think was about a foot tall when it came out, when I brought it out of the garage. And then this one over here was just the corm that I did the video on, planting it up. So it did really, really well. We've got some salvia, two types of salvia, the blue salvia and the purple salvia, different types. And we've got the The catmint, I always plant the catmint for the bees. This is a perennial variety, but I need to trim it back. It's getting really, really wild right now, and I'm noticing there's not a lot of bees on it right now. Oh, there is. There's a bee flying around there. We've got the globe thistle. It's not looking so good. I put some fertilizer mixed with some peat moss around the, or not fertilizer, some cow manure. And I'm noticing that the yellow is starting to turn more into green with those new leaves. So that's hopefully it's doing its job. We've got some more sunflowers here. There's one here, not as tall as the other one. And then there's one over here. This one is just over the fence. They're starting to develop their flowers, so they're not going to get much taller than that. We've got over here we've got the butterfly weed. That's looking really, really nice. I love the flowers on the butterfly weed, and I love how I think they're spent flowers. How they look like they're like fireworks. They've exploded and they've zipped around the sky and they're just doing their thing. This rose I have to come in and trim it back. This is Love. It probably doesn't love the shade that the sunflower is giving it, but I don't even give a crap. I don't care. I like the sunflower. The rose is pretty and it will survive. Next year I might rethink the spot for the sunflower, but I enjoy it. It's nice. So what I will have to move though is the butterfly weed, because it's really in the way. And maybe if I move the butterfly weed, maybe I could move the rose just a little bit further forward. I thought that the rose would take up more space, but it's not taking up much space at all. We have the Alocasia Patoria, or Patora. I need to cut this growth off. I was saying it in the last video. I need to remove this and plant it back in the ground so that it gives some more life to these leaves, but I haven't done that. Laziness. So it's looking really, really nice. We got all kinds of new growth happening. Yeah. So the lavender is looking really good. It's doing amazing. And behind the lavender, this is a new one. This is a Weigela. I'm not sure what type of Weigela it is. I can't remember, but it's a variegated variety. And I love the variegation. It's so pretty. The two tones of green. And then we have the Plumeria, looking really, really nice. And then we've got the shell ginger, the variegated shell ginger. It's doing amazing. It goes through moments where in the heat of the summer afternoon, in the hot sun, the leaves roll up, but then when in the evening or in the morning, the leaves uncurl. So it doesn't like the heat of the sun, but it's doing okay. And then we've got a little Rex begonia down below. That one I'm going to try to move into a shadier spot. I kept meaning to do that last month, but I didn't get around to it. Here we have some really pretty sedum. I love the variegation, and I love the flowers come out kind of orangey pink, and then they turn into that yellow. Super, super cute. This here is the Regal Shields Alocasia. This is a really, really good one if you're unsure whether you're able to keep an Alocasia. This is a really hardy variety. It does well if it dries out a bit too much, and it also does well if it gets overwatered. It's an easy plant to grow. The leaves are much thicker than some, and it's very tolerant of even indoors. You might not get huge leaves inside, but it definitely survives better than others, especially for like insect damage. Probably the thicker leaves deter the pests. My little phlox, it's supposed to be a beautiful pink phlox. I won't know that this year, because the little bunnies have been through here and they took all of the main stems. So hopefully it doesn't die over winter, because the cute little bunnies came and ate everything. And here is the acanthus. This is Acanthus hungariensis, or hungariensis. I'm not sure, but the flowers are looking pretty cool. As this plant matures, the flower spikes are going to get a little bit taller, maybe another 5 or 6 inches taller than that. And then the leaves are just going to mix together and just make this really geometric shaped, fun mess of leaves. It's going to be beautiful. So excited to have a home for this one it's not getting moved every year. And hopefully I start to get a nicer show of flowers year after year at this point. Here's another daylily, looking super nice. And this is, what is this one? I think that was the Spanish lavender. Is it Spanish? Oh, I always forget. Yes, Spanish lavender. This one had some sort of a deficiency as well, so I mulched it with peat moss and cow manure, and now I'm just going to come in and deadhead these probably after the video. But the leaves are so yellow; they're not supposed to be this yellow. So I don't know. I hope that it comes back and gives me nice color. I don't really care for flowers again. I'd like to see more flowers, but I just want to see the plant be healthy instead. Then we have the Borneo King, the Alocasia Borneo King. The leaves are getting to be a nice size. The plant is a nice size. The wind took this one and broke it. It was a good one, as you can see there, but it's no good anymore. And we got a new leaf starting, so that's good. I'm glad to see that. Planted a bee balm to hopefully attract some hummingbirds. This is a red variety, one of the tall red ones. Need to come in here with my mix of dish soap or horticultural oil and baking soda and spray it all over the leaves because we got some powdery mildew started. Then we've got the lime zinger xanthosoma. I love this plant so much. It's growing really, really nicely this season. And that's basically it. We've got the nice Japanese maple. I'm not sure what variety that is. And this cool sedum. I love the variegation of that sedum. This is the first year that it's ever come back for me. Usually I have to buy one every year. They're perennials, but they just don't seem to come back. And then we've got all kinds of plants going on over here. What's this? Oh, it's a little rain lily flowering in here. How cute is that rain lily? And appropriately so, it's right after a rain. I'm going to do an update on some of these plants, so I'm not going to go through them in detail, but the Amorphophallus are doing nicely. And yeah, as you can see, there's all kinds of plants growing on these shelves. This guy I need to get a pot for. This is the Kalanchoe, the elephant ear Kalanchoe, and I need to get a pot that allows it to not fall over. A new plant that I purchased is the whale fin, the variegated whale fin, which is super, super cool. I have the big whale fin, the regular green one, but this one I was so excited to buy. Went out to Valley View Nurseries or Valley View Gardens with Daryl from Houseplant Journal. And I also got this little Tradescantia. If you know what variety this Tradescantia is, let me know. It seems really, really cool. I liked it. I like the shape of it. I like the way that it's growing. And yeah, I'd like to know. So this is a bougainvillea. This is the one that I got from Brugmansia, Quebec last year. And it grew nicely, and it grew as a nice bush. But I wanted to grow it as a standard. So I ended up training it up this pole. I removed all of the side branches. I just left one. And now it's starting to produce all kinds of little branches. It didn't flower this year only because I cut off all of its growth. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll document it in a video. And the cinnamon tree, this one is growing new leaves. I've got some new growth happening all over the place, but this is such an interesting plant. I want it to do better than it has been doing. Last year it had scale, so we'll see what happens. I don't want to get rid of it. It's such an interesting plant, and I love the smell. When you cut the branches, it very much is cinnamon. Then we've got the mangave, looking so nice, and the spineless agave. Oh, super nice. And over here we have the Trachycarpus fortunae. The windmill palm that's hardy to this zone. I keep it in the garage over winter, but it's doing nicely. It's doing good. I repotted it into this bigger pot. That pot is at least a 16 or 18 inch pot, I think. But yeah, there it is. And here is the garlic that I harvested. It's sitting there. It's trying to bake in the sun, and soon I will remove the leaves. But right now, they're looking great. I'm going to take half of them and replant them in the ground after I remove. I'll take all the cloves and make them individual and then plant them back in the ground. And over here, this Hoya carrii, was in the grow tent, and I just moved it outside because it's been growing all this new growth all the way down to here. So it's been doing amazing. But the only problem is the new growth hasn't been producing leaves. So I think that these are panicles starting to develop, so flower spikes. So we'll see what happens. I want them to develop. There's all kinds of them. There's more on this side as well. They're also producing aerial roots. So I don't know what's going on. I'd like it to produce the leaves. So I put it outside. It might like it better out here. And then over on this side, oh yay, I didn't even notice. This is the brassia. The brassia orchid is starting to open. That's a big surprise. So yeah, this is the backyard tour. Hope you enjoyed. And yeah. Oh, here's the zucchini. These zucchinis I'm just going to remove. They seem to go darker when they don't get enough water. So I'm just going to remove those, I believe. We've got some nice green ones starting here. I need to water these every day, at least once. They dry out really, really fast, but they require so much water to develop the fruit. So, and then we've got the tower garden. I thought we were done, but we are not done. On this tower garden, we have the mint. We've got lots of basil. We've got all kinds of peppers. Let me see if I can turn this with one hand. There we go. We got all kinds of peppers developing, as you can see. Green peppers, and we also have a mix of other type, like a sweet pepper down below. They're more long. I'm not sure if they're supposed to be green or whether they're supposed to be yellow or orange or red, but we'll see soon. So that's basically it. So I hope you enjoyed the backyard tour. There's a lot to see, and hopefully I remembered to show you everything. If there was anything I missed, let me know, and we'll go back and check it out next time. And yeah, until next time, you guys, happy growing.